Okay. Hi, everyone. Saralise, Shekinah, Sophia here. The date today is August 31st. I'm with my beautiful friend, Lucy Love, Lucy Davis. She's coming to you live from England. What part of England are you in?
I'm in Surrey, in England, Weybridge,
Surrey.
to be specific. And it's the
Spain.
1st of September here.
Oh, right. Sorry.
No,
Yes,
that's
it's like super late here and it's like morning time there. That's how we have to do it.
okay. So good
So
to see you.
yeah, you too. So we were just talking about God, all the things happening. So Lucy, I would love for you to share again what we were just talking about, which is like going to different places around the world and doing work on the land and the grids and like your experience of that. Because I'd love for people to hear your experience of what you've experienced because you and I do similar work.
We do, definitely. Okay,
And
so
how we met too. How we met.
I,
I'll let
I,
you
do you know
tell
what? I
that story.
knew we were going to talk about that today. And I've already had Donna say to me, "Oh my goodness, if you're speaking to Sarah Lees, I need to hear about this."
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, such a
Aw.
beautiful journey. Okay, so just a little bit of background on myself. I used to work on the trading floor for investment banks. I was a project manager for many, many years, and I was totally asleep at that point. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea of the gifts that resided within me. So for anybody that does listen to this, you're a little bit like, I'm kind of half awake and half asleep. I was that girl. And then 7 years ago, literally 7 years ago, I quit my job and because I physically burnt out. My physical human just gave up on me. My hair was falling out. I was very sick, and I just couldn't do anymore. And it's literally about 7 years ago to the day that I hopped on a plane and I left the UK and I went on this whirlwind trip of like unlocking who I was as a human and all of my spiritual gifts. But of course, yeah, it was mad. So like 14 months I was traveling just intuitively, exactly what you were just saying. I was just intuitively going to these places, having no clue, meeting all of the right people that I needed to meet, to help unlock
Mhm.
a little bit extra. I came back to the UK because I was like, right, I'm going to set up a business. I'm going to retrain as a nutritionist. I'm going to train as a coach. I'm going to do all of these really cool things. And then I went back to the trading floor and just things started happening.
Oh, wow.
And and all of a sudden I was being called to really bizarre places, like little pockets in Brazil, and I had no clue why I was being called there, but I started listening. And basically over the last 5 years particularly, I've been trusting my intuition wherever I've needed to be, and
Mhm.
it's fascinating. So obviously I had been doing this work for a little bit, and then a few years ago I was really drawn to Glastonbury. I was doing a retreat down in White Lacklington, which is about 45 minutes from Glastonbury. And this day I turned around to Donna, who's the lady that works with me on my retreats, and I was like, I gotta go to Glastonbury. Like, I've just got to go to Glastonbury. I don't know what it is. I've just got to go. And she's like, we've kind of got a lot to organise. And I was like, I don't care. We've got to go. And literally, I arrived in Glastonbury, and I'd never been before. And I'm from Bournemouth originally, so only about an hour and a half from Glastonbury, and I'd never been. And I'd been meandering around this place, and we'd been stood on this corner, and I'd been getting all of these what I now know to be downloads. I was just downloading all of this information that I needed to go and do. And I was just intuitively trusting where I needed to go. And I went and bought some crystals. I ended up in this gorgeous vegan restaurant. The next thing I know, Sarah Lise walks in. "Oh, I've been looking for you." Or, "I could feel your energy." I can't remember the exact words. And she literally just bowled over and sat down with us. And I was like, okay. And that's
Divine
how I met,
appointment.
yeah, that's how I met this beautiful human. And
Oh,
I will never forget one of the first one-liners, because Donna was fast asleep at this point. Like, she hadn't woken up at this point. I think that day woke her up, or that
I
weekend
hope.
anyway.
We
And
talked about so much. Anyways, go
basically,
ahead.
that day, I'll never forget, Sarah Lee sat down, and we had these most incredible conversations, like incredible conversations that you just wouldn't imagine. And literally the dots got connected. And I want to be honest, at that point, I had been really trusting my divine intuitive guidance. But it was that day when the rabbit hole totally popped. You know, like I'd already gone down the rabbit hole to a level, but it went spinning a lot further. And that was really the start of something special. You know, I'd already awoken spiritually. You know, I was connecting to my guides. I was getting all of the divine guidance from the universe. Like when I was in Guatemala, for example, I had hummingbirds coming to me and giving me messages. So I'd connected on that level, but this was a whole new level. And actually, it's when I really started becoming aware of everything that we're uncovering now.
Right.
You know, I was literally just saying.
You mean as in human trafficking and.
So 3 years ago, I was shown very clearly the world was going to be shut down. 3 years ago, I was shown all of the trauma that the children were going through on the planet. But I couldn't quite connect the dots, if that makes sense. And then when I met you, it must have been about 2.5 years ago, maybe just getting close to 3 years ago now. I'm not too sure. But that's when it started connecting all of the light bulbs, if that makes sense, because I'd seen it energetically, but I hadn't really quite comprehended how that was going to connect. Like I said to you earlier, like I saw the world being closed down, didn't realize it was going to be now, didn't realize it was actually going to happen because I thought I was going crazy.
Right.
You know, I thought I'd kind of like overexerted myself and, you know, gone to a whole
maybe that's a little imagination there, Missy.
Right, little extreme. And if I'd articulated it to anyone, they probably would have thought I was an absolute crazy woman. But here we are living our truth right now.
Right.
And that is why I'm so grateful for the day that we met, because it was when we were in the Abbey. I don't know if you remember, we went to meditate in the Abbey together with Donna. And that was when I started getting the downloads of what was going on underground.
Right. And we looked into the underground. We actually looked into King Arthur's tomb, where it had previously been. And I think by us going into the realms and seeing what was really going on underground, it gave that ability to then take that with you to the next, wherever you went next. And then all of a sudden, once that door is opened, you can't, there's no turning back. That's it. You can't not see it.
Exactly.
You know? Exactly. And for me at that time, actually, I had a client, my second client actually, who had been a victim of Jimmy Savile and Peter Giaconelli.
Wow. Who
were the original pedophilia rings that were started, the child trafficking rings that were started and became what they became. The origination of that actually started in modern time in Scarborough, England, in the 50s, right?
Wow.
And so I was working together with this client and people on the other side, including Jimmy Savile, to lift the veil in relation to human trafficking so that it could be exposed and seen. And because Jimmy Savile basically came to me and said, I want to help undo this. I can't do this anymore in my soul's journey. Like, I have to complete this. And I said, great, buddy. You can help us out then, you know? And like, we went to work and we started uncovering and unraveling the entire network and how it all traveled down from Northern England and Scotland down through England, through the whole spine of Albion, essentially, and how it traveled in Europe and like what was going on there. And like, we got all the information from dead people, you know, people that wanted to redeem their souls because they were trapped, people that had tortured my client were asking for redemption, basically. And so as an exchange of me helping them move on, I said, I'm happy to help you move on. You're forgiven. Everything's cool, you know, and that's not for me to say, really. That's for you to forgive yourself. And how about you help us out and tell us what's going on and help us lift the veil, right? And that's what they did. And so from the other side, we started to have a legion of people that had transitioned that wanted to come clean, basically, from their experience in that body previously, because they were trapped. Their souls were trapped. So we were able to release a bunch of souls in relation to that. And then that slowly, you know, lifted the veil. I mean, I worked hard lifting that veil, let me tell you.
I
I think
imagine
you
it's
know.
so heavy.
Yeah,
It's so heavy,
it's so
you know,
heavy,
and
and I've continued to lift the veil for many, many years. Like I've been involved in lifting the veil for a long time. So
it's really fascinating because we didn't have these conversations those years back. We didn't. That like
no, we didn't.
although we looked at the grid and the energetics that was going on, and we knew that it was heavy and all the rest of it, we didn't actually have those physical
No,
conversations.
we didn't.
And what I found interesting is in the last 3 years to 5 years of my personal business, everything I've been doing for the children, but I haven't really been speaking outwardly about it until about the last 6 months. And I'm actually, as you know, not last weekend, the weekend before, I was protesting in London
Oh,
as
you
the
were?
as the co-host for Freedom for the Children,
Oh,
because
beautiful.
we are actually lifting the veil on it in this country now. And I've
Thank
partnered up with a
God.
girl who's incredible, and we are doing multiple walks across the UK and the world actually every 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know, so we go again this weekend coming, we go again on the 19th of September. And it wasn't until you just said that I was like, oh, again, another light bulb has just gone off, because I've known for a long time that this has been going on, but we didn't actually ever connect that dot back then. And now I'm like, okay, because
Yeah.
you're like lifting the veil, and you've been lifting the veil for such a long time on this. And now I'm doing my role of the communicator, because I was always the communicator. I've always been sent here to be a communicator, and I'm communicating the truth.
Yes.
You know, and it's just, it's so beautiful how this works out.
Mm-hmm. So
You know, and we're
beautiful.
all just coming together, and we're all sitting in our roles, which is so
It's
awesome right
such
now.
a huge team effort, what's happening right now. It gives me full body chills to think about the level of
It
work.
actually brings up so much emotion.
Yeah. How many people, think about how many people right now are doing their part across the planet. It's huge.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so massive that you can't almost even fathom. You can feel it though.
Yeah.
The other night I was sitting outside and I could literally feel the supernova coming. I could feel the supernova coming. I was like, okay, it's coming.
I feel it.
Like,
I feel like it's pulsating right now.
okay, you know, the
That's what I
pulsing.
get.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
I
pulsating.
feel the pulsations of, and the Schumann resonance too. I've been watching it.
So
Oh
the
my
day
God, dude.
that we did we do a global meditation. Whenever we do our walks, we do a global meditation at a specific time. The
You
Schumann
should tune
resonance.
me into those. You should always
Yes,
tell me when you're going to be doing those so I can tune in with you.
please, we would love that. Absolutely. You know, this is what we came for.
Yes.
I keep saying to people, like, I get that it's a bit tricky right now, but this is what we came for. This
This
what
is
we
why
signed
we're
up
here,
for.
man.
You know, we're not here to just, whatever they've convinced you, get up, go and work, pay bills. We're not. We're here to like literally turn the planet over. We're here to literally get the energy to rise so high that we can all ascend and go on to the great things that we were supposed to do.
Right.
You know, we're here to unpick.
We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Exactly.
And here's another part of it that I don't know if you're privy to any of this information, but as a financial person, you'll be like, what? Okay, here's the download. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? You probably already know about this, but I'm gonna just for everybody else too.
Me too.
Okay, so right now, everything that you're seeing is in reaction, really, to a couple of things. One is the global financial reset of the entire planet, 209 countries. There is a Global Economic Securities and Reformation Act that is going into effect right now, which will completely transform the financial system and will relieve all human beings of their debt. Did you hear what I said? Debt relief, money returned, mortgages, credit cards, student loans, zeroed out, people, money returned. Okay?
So important.
The US dollar, which has been the main trading thing, the US dollar was used as trading, right? The main trade parameter for the planet. The US dollar is going now to be the US note. The fiat currency that was the US dollar is no longer. It is not backed by anything. It was previously backed by petrol, right? And all that money was on the SWIFT system. So our entire planet was on the SWIFT system. That went offline today.
Yeah.
We're good. It's gone. The SWIFT system was money, all the money that was funneling through the SWIFT system was funneling up to a few families.
Yeah.
And you can almost guess who those families are: the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the whoever the fuck, those people. And now it's the quantum financial system, okay? And the quantum financial system has within it the blockchain technology, but it also has blockchain, like a Bitcoin type of XRP, I believe it is, backed by gold, currency, and physical currency is still existing, and it's backed by gold as well. So the Chinese dragon family, the white dragon family, and the Chinese elders that were from the Himalayan lineage that were never part of the communist family or communist regime are who are backing this transition. And then there's also the family, I believe here, Kim Possible, she's at the center of the families here in America, and she's also been funding the government since 2017 to make it operate. She's been,
Wow.
she's the owner of the trust. So we've basically that's all that money's been being loaned to the US until this transition could happen. And as a result of that, though, also, the deep state that has been operating, which is all the bloodline families that are controlling the secret societies, that are controlling the cabal, that are controlling the US government, all of those people were involved in human trafficking and crimes against humanity. And all of those people have been indicted and are being arrested. There's over 185,000 indictments against those particular people. And a lot of them have been arrested, and a lot of high profile people are at Gitmo or they've already been executed, and they have a taped confession on analog, not digital.
Yeah. So can't be tweaked.
Can't be tweaked, can't be fucked with at all. Okay. And so this is real. Like, no matter what anybody says about QAnon or any of that, this is a military, precise, to the second, I am not even kidding you, to the second operation from beginning to end. There is nothing about this that has not been planned and organized and being administered in the world. This is a military operation. We are in World War III, literally. Okay?
Yeah.
And what we need to understand as citizens is that if we are not putting our energy towards the positive outcome of this environment that we are literally living in, because we're developing it through our consciousness, right? It's all a war on consciousness and between good and evil. And the people that have been controlling the Earth's population are getting taken down.
Thankfully.
Finally. And then everybody has an opportunity to have wealth. for the first time ever in the history of the planet. Like, it's so massive that people they can't even, what? Yeah. So we need to understand that as this transition moves forward, we need to lend ourselves to the freedom and liberty of consciousness.
Yeah, it's almost too big for, and this is why we keep calling it the Great Awakening, the Mass Awakening, or the Awakening, or whatever it is that people are calling, because people need to be a certain level of consciousness to be able to comprehend that this stuff can actually take place.
Right. Not only that, but it's coming in increments. They're rolling it out slowly. Do you notice how they're doing it? They're doing it in little bits and pieces. So everyone's like, well, why don't they just show us right now? Or why can't they be fully transparent? I'm like, really? You want to see what happens? Do you want to see what happens? Look what's already happening. You want to see what happens if that comes out? Oh, Lordy, you know?
Yeah, the hospitals would be full anyway, wouldn't they?
Say again?
With heart attack, the hospitals would be full with people having heart attacks and all the rest of it, with the shock. Think about it.
Literal shock.
About people are still asleep, you know? Like, if they all of a sudden found out all of this information,
right,
you'd been basically being robbed for the last however many years you've been alive.
Your entire life.
Been a lie, you know. You would have a heart attack, you would have a breakdown, you would incorporate mental health issues or whatever. People would riot. Like,
people are rioting.
I know. I thought that, and then I was like, yeah, you do remember where she is, right?
No, but people would revolt.
Yeah, no, you're
and
right.
They already are. But see, the cool thing is the way that it's happened, there's a rollout happening, so that now when the revolution actually does happen, it's an awakening.
Yeah. And it's actually really interesting. If you remember back to one of the first comments that we shared with each other, I was shown something this morning, and it's the 8 cities that were mass protesting over the weekend. You know, literally the weekend just gone, we had 40,000 in London. There were millions in Berlin, for example.
Right.
You know, there's other cities around the world that were out in force over the weekend because people are tired. But it is divine alignment. It's happening right now, because right now is exactly the time when the quantum financial is coming online.
Right.
You know, it's literally these days, right? The 31st, the 1st, the 2nd, that's when this is going to be happening. So if you've been paying attention, if you've been listening properly, if you've actually been doing a bit of research, you will know 31st, 1st, 2nd, and going forwards into September, it's going to be huge.
Massive. Not only that, but the full moon in Pisces.
Just an extra twist.
Shedding of the old, you know.
Because we haven't quite done enough of that.
Like, we haven't just dumped everything already. Let's just dump a little bit. Let's just get it all out. Let's just get it all out.
We are purging hard this year.
Purge that shit.
Honestly, I keep saying to my group, I'm like, just hold on to your pants for a little bit longer, ladies.
Just breathe. You're going to be okay, honey. Just don't get your panties in a twist. You're going to be all right.
Yeah, it's incredible though. Like, it's really incredible. So quite interestingly, one of the last projects I was assigned before I left the investment banking world was to remove physical currency. So, you know, obviously share
about that.
Yeah, and I left. Finally, I left my job in September 2017. So almost 3 years ago. That's been, you know, and that was one of the last projects.
You just left your job when I met you.
Yeah. Okay. So it is almost 3 years ago then.
Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. And I'd had all of my visions about the world closing down probably 6 months before that.
Yeah.
So it was like, you're waking up, you're waking up, you're waking up, you're waking
up.
Like
bam, 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 bam. That's how it happens now for people.
Hasn't stopped yet.
Right?
Every day I'm like, okay, let's go again.
Another round.
I'm excited by the quantum financial though, and I really just want everybody to trust. I know it's a
Yeah.
challenging period of time to ask people to trust and to surrender to this, but
Yeah.
it is coming. Like, everybody is going to get looked after. Everybody, particularly people that are like doing really good stuff right now that perhaps haven't been looked after in the past, you know, you are
Right.
going to get looked after.
Like the
Just
humanitarians of the world,
exactly.
those are the people that are going to have financial abundance
Exactly.
because spirit is making sure of it. Like
Yeah.
literally, spirit is chosen very specific people to find out about the Zim notes and to find out about the monies so that they would have access to what they need to be able to create big projects and to be able to fund them. And but the thing about the quantum financial system that people may not understand, and it kind of is hard to fathom, is that it's a transparent system. So there's nothing that can hide within that system. So if you take any action within regards to human trafficking or anything like that, you'll get cut off.
Yeah.
Literally, you'll
Which
get cut off.
which is what we need. We need to stamp this stuff out. And something
Yeah.
else that I've heard as well, something else that I've heard is that there's going to be, obviously people's debts are going to be cleared first and
Yes.
foremost. The debts are going to be
And
cleared.
the basic income too, universal basic income. I'm not sure whether that's actually still happening or not, but
there's also something else that I've heard about there will only be a tax on non-essential items. I don't know if that's
new
true or
items. So no food. There's going to be in the United States, I don't know if this is everywhere, but in the United States, it's a 14 to 17% tax on new items, new sales. And that will be what funds the government or whatever, however that works. But that food and shelter and all the other things, none of that will be taxed, and there won't be any income tax either.
Yes,
Which is
absolutely.
huge.
Yes, and
Because
that's
that's like
really
40% of people's paychecks in America.
I mean, I used to pay almost 50% tax here.
Yeah, most people in America. Yeah,
it's just it's
absurd.
criminal.
It is criminal. It's absolutely criminal.
And that is
so
what
if people
we're
start bitching about 14% tax, I'd be like, you don't have any income tax. You get all your money now. Like, and you only get taxed 14%, period, on new items that you decide whether or not you're going to purchase.
Exactly. And
it's like there is no tax. You know what I mean?
No, and that's the taxes that we've been paying for all of the years is how they've been funding this stuff that we're uncovering.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
so interesting. It's
Quadrillions of dollars.
I know, but I came back to the UK after a long period away in September of last year because I knew that I needed to be here. Didn't realize I was going to be here so long, but
I know,
literally,
right?
Honestly,
I thought I was going to be at festivals all summer. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, okay.
We're allowed to be delusional from time to time.
But before COVID, that was actually the plan. Like there was actually a large global mass awakening happening regardless of COVID. And because of COVID, this is what happened. But because they panicked and they said, we got to do this now, basically, because they were getting arrested. So they were like, well, fuck it. Then we're just going to.
Yeah, we're just going to ramp it up.
Yeah, we're just going to wrap it all up. We're going to take total domination and control. We're going to try to vaccinate all the people and change their DNA on 8 billion people. Really, dude? Come the fuck on. I mean, I think by now you should know that we are not falling for your shit. For your game, bro. I mean, actually, they've been gone since 2013. Those are not them. Those are clones. And that's probably why it's so obvious too, because they're clones, because they're just not the same people.
Right.
They got taken out in Africa, dude, in 2013, because the people there got so sick of them, they took them out.
Yeah.
They killed them there. They murdered them there because of the mass murders that they were already doing in Africa.
It's criminal, and it's deserved what's going on, right?
Oh, like it is. I mean, that's the thing that's like hard for me. Like, okay, so we used to have the death penalty, and then it was taken out, and then there was no more death penalty, and there was no more law and order, basically. And then there's no way that people are suffering repercussions for their acts of crimes against humanity. Like, it's not an eye for an eye at that point. It's a different thing. It's like a whole different level of when you are like, let's just use Hillary Clinton as an example. She's the best example.
To use.
She has been raping and torturing and murdering children since probably the 70s. Okay.
Yeah.
I personally have experience in regards to that. So I can tell you that it's true. I can also tell you that I suffered for many years in relation to that. So I had severe PTSD and was not able to function as a normal human being. And on top of that, I was being like targeted, you know, severely targeted for many, many years. And so for me, I have come to this practice of not hating people, like understanding how to be unconditionally loving of every single human on the planet. But that doesn't necessarily mean tolerance of bad behavior and not calling someone and holding them accountable for their actions. So what we are seeing right now is holding people accountable for their actions.
Yes.
And what the Democrats are actually trying to do is to by defunding the police and doing all of those things and abolishing the police and abolishing all law and order, is to create lawlessness so no one can be held accountable for their actions, including the pedophiles.
Yeah.
And while all that's going on, they're trying to pass through law that the sexual consent age be 4 years old. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
And have you seen the WHO are trying to say that all 4-year-olds need to be educated on how to masturbate?
Sex education.
Like
the World Health Organization.
Allow that to sink in.
The World Health Organization with Tedros, who's a literal career terrorist in Ethiopia before he became the head of the World Health Organization. The guy was a terrorist and he got put in the position of power in the World Health Organization. What does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly.
The CDC.
Well, we spoke about
the privately owned Center for Disease Control just under the radar let out a little notification to everybody that only 6% of the 150,000 deaths in America were actually COVID deaths. Oh, we discovered that all of a sudden only 9,000 deaths were directly related to COVID. But we decided that, blanket it across the blanket because we don't really know. So they're all COVID deaths. We inflated the numbers because we didn't really know. And until we could prove that it was actually only 6%, we weren't. Oh, shit.
Getting excited here.
I just knocked over my water. It just went all over me and the floor. At least it was water.
Oh, bless you.
I'm going to drink the rest of it.
And the scary thing about it is that was just slid in over the weekend. Like, we're just going to put this in stealth. We're just going to hope that nobody sees this.
Are you kidding me? Like, nobody's paying attention right now? Come on. They knew that people were going to see it, but they had to. They were called to task. And here's why. Because an executive order was put into place that said that all states had to report the real numbers to the Trump administration to get accurate numbers.
Yeah.
And they could no longer lie.
And this is what's so fascinating is people are like, Trump's going to frig the numbers. And I'm like, that is a brilliant card he just pulled, because now the numbers can't be frigged.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're going to see all of the statistics starting to drop, and people are going to go, so my feeling that we should lock the world down for something that's, you know, not quite as significant as we initially thought was actually lunacy.
Right. He just pulled
And
the
the world
major card.
continues to awaken, right? The world continues to awaken.
And what's so interesting is that didn't even happen, and all the protests in all those 8 cities around the world were already happening at the same time that the CDC came out with the 6%.
Exactly. And this is what I'm talking about. There is a mass awakening now. And it's just
nothing can stop what is coming. The supernova is on its fucking way, dude.
Bring it on! I don't know about you, but
bring it on, dude. I'm so ready for it to pop.
I'm like, please hurry up, because I want to take some time off.
Yeah, seriously. I want to take I just want to rest.
I know. I'm working all day, a bit like yourself, working all night.
Yeah.
You know, energetically, I'm working all freaking night. I'm in those tunnels. I'm doing all sorts of work at the moment. And I don't know, any of our fellow starseeds and light workers out there, like, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
I promise.
We're going to make it.
We are. And I'm going to take a month off.
You're going to need more than a month, honey.
But I'm so ready for it. I am.
Yeah.
You know, I will do whatever it takes for humanity. As you know, like that's my mission here on the planet, right? I just want to help humanity get where we need to go, like, in all seriousness.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to a break.
Me too, Sarah. Me too. I'm ready to go to the Mediterranean.
Beach, no phone, no Wi-Fi. Just put me somewhere completely isolated so I can just be present and just get my body back in alignment. And you know, all of this, just allow the fuzziness to just get back to Mama Nature, go in the water, probably open some portals and things, you know, because that's what we do.
Lift a few veils, whatever's left.
I know. I'll never forget. I was in Bali, and this particular day, I just found myself, literally, I'd gone out on a paddleboard, and I'd found myself in between like Gili T and Gili Air, and I had just been sat there, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm just literally sat here. And one of my girlfriends, who's a shaman, she messaged me, and she's like, what have you been doing in Indonesia today? And I'm like, I don't know, I've just been sat in the water. She's like, we've activated
between the 2 living crystals. Because Saralise didn't show up. And so I just, I got called over here, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But, I just went anyway. And then, so I was going to tell you, when was that? Because I was called to Bali, but then I got yanked back to the U.S., right? So
it was 2018.
Right?
Yeah.
Summer?
And literally, maybe May, June time.
Right. Okay. So are you ready?
This is how we work, people.
This is how we work. Here you guys get to see the synchronicities happening right now. Check this out. So I was called, I packed up my shit, threw it in a storage unit in Glastonbury, got on the road, spent a month in Egypt, activated the temples all up and down the Nile, activated Stargate 4, hopped over to Bosnia, was in Bosnia for a week, activated the core central generator of the planet, and then was on my way to Bali. And then I got yanked back to the U.S. And right as I was getting yanked back to the U.S., Gili Air blows up. Because I wasn't there to stabilize the freaking call of Gili Air that was calling me to stabilize that shit on the sacred womb grid around the planet. This region right in here, right here. See this region? That region right there. And then, of course, Lucy shows up.
The sidekick.
sidekick. She just goes and makes sure that everything's, just she's
We're
got
good.
it. I didn't know, but I kind of remember you telling me something about it along the way, that she had shown up there or something.
Yeah.
It's
And
just funny to think about, that we're just getting called around the planet. We don't even know where we're going. We just go and we do it. Like,
and it's really fascinating, something that you just said. I had to write it down as you were talking, because I was
oh,
like, oh, you're not. So when COVID first happened, I actually got back from Dubai in February. So I went to Florida in January. I had to go to Dubai for work in February. Obviously, March here in the UK, we got locked down.
right.
And within 2 weeks maybe of being locked down, I was meditating one day and I was following the virus through somebody's blood. Literally, I was watching it. And I watched it mutate, and I watched all of this crazy stuff, and I was like, oh my goodness. Then in my next meditation the same day, because I was like, I need to go back and check that out. Like, that was really cool. Like, I enjoyed that. And I learned so much about it at that point. And that's when my fear disintegrated. Like, not that I had fear before, because I know that I'm healthy and I look after my human body and my vessel and everything. But that, it was a bit like, ooh, well, this has gone a little bit how we didn't expect it to go. And it just gave me an inner peace seeing that. But what was quite interesting is the next meditation that I did that day, I was taken to the tomb where Moses' wife is buried. And I think that's in Israel. Is that in Israel, maybe?
I don't know where that is.
Yeah. So when you just said I activated the temples, I was like, oh my goodness, because I was being called to go there, but physically I was blocked. So I was just doing some work energetically on that temple. Now there's 7 women, like divine feminine energies, buried in this one tomb.
Where
And
is this?
I'll look it out and I'll send it to you. I'm sure it's Israel.
Wow.
Because I
I
actually
got
had
called to Israel, and that was the other place I was going before. I was going to Bali. I was going to go to the Temple Mount and
so I need
unlock it.
yeah,
And I
because
got
that's what
yanked back. I got yanked, literally fucking yanked back to the US, dude.
It's unbelievable. Literally, I was like, it was a call to go and unlock the divine feminine energy, because obviously that's what's happening on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And it was Moses's wife that was calling me.
Fascinating.
But that just, I was like, ping, 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 ping. Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to comment on something you said about COVID. So I found out about it, right? And it was in China still, and it was coming into the US or whatever. And so February 2nd, I went immediately. I was like, I know, that's right. And I'm 222. So cool.
It was my sister.
So that day on your birthday, I went in and we tracked the whole thing. We tracked how it got to the Wuhan lab. We tracked that it went through CERN and got activated in the Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
We saw everywhere that it went, and then it came from here and it went there and it went down through Europe, and then it went over to, we tracked the whole thing and traced it. And then we saw what was happening over in China. We saw the crazy. And so then we reprogrammed it for a global mass awakening, literally, and that it wouldn't be any more harmful than a common cold. Beautiful. And literally that's what happened. Like it shifted, because what happened in China was real, and 21 million people died. Like, it's no joke. 21 million people actually died. 21 million cell phones went offline.
Wow.
Yeah, and someone in the Communist Party, one of the officers, like an undercover guy, lost his kid. And so he felt compelled to tell the world what was going on. And he sent a letter over to an American, like somebody in America, right, to get the word out. And then it started spreading, and it only spread like very, very small, hardly any. They like took it down as quickly as they could, but I managed to somehow save it. So I have it somewhere. But so basically they just said, he said, he showed the like incinerator, and he showed all the levels of crazy, and like the people, and like he had all the links to all the things, which have now all been taken down, of course. But some people managed to take the video and record it and screen record it or whatever. And so essentially it was way worse, and it had a bacterial component and an HIV component to it. So,
Wow.
yeah,
It's
highly
so,
contagious. But at the
yeah.
same time, now they're saying, oh, asymptomatic, we don't need masks. They're saying that now.
Yeah.
And people are still wearing masks.
I know.
Even though Dr. Fauci has told people not to wear masks.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? And there's a lot of people out there that have been saying that the virus doesn't exist. And it does exist.
It absolutely
does exist.
Yeah.
And it has impacted so many people. But I don't know about your views on this, but my view is some souls have just gone, I'm ready to go now. Yeah. And that's why they've contracted it, they've gone.
Right. And it's also, here's another interesting thing. There was a bunch of, there was a video, and I never got to see it, but it was a video that it had people sharing their stories who had survived COVID and what they saw.
Wow.
And what they experienced. And then I got a personal account of someone who went through it as well, because she told me in person about it. And she said that it was super dark what she experienced. It was like an entity basically came into her body and was like attacking her and making it so she couldn't breathe. Yeah. And so she transmuted it, and she decided to transmute it for everybody because she was like, this is bullshit. Like, and so at that point it turned and it became even more of a, just a common cold type of thing. But another video was there where there were like 10 different witness accounts of people that had survived COVID and had gone through the experience, and they were like blood dripping from the walls, people with animal heads and sacrifice and ritual, all blood. Yeah. Like and all different people, like 10 different people, not just like one person, like 10 different accounts of all these people seeing ritual sacrifice happening, and then thinking that they were getting their limbs cut off in the middle when the nurses were coming in to like really weird shit, like super demonic stuff was connected to this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they weren't hallucinations. They were like, they thought they were having hallucinations, but it was technically these entities that were in this virus that it was attached to the virus. And so that got cleared. So once I found out about that, we cleared that too, because that was a whole nother level that showed up again on top, because it wasn't there when we first cleared it. And then they redid something, and then it, because so they're always constantly like they're in like defense mode right now, trying to like manage the fact that people are coming in and knocking this shit out. Like, nope, not, I'm watching you.
It was quite,
you know what I mean?
It was quite interesting. I saw something here that, and I don't know if it's what's happened over there, but over here, there was definitely a link between the flu vaccination and
100%.
people that were being impacted. And I thought that was a really interesting correlation as well.
Yes.
On a human level, that was a really interesting correlation, because I do feel like, and my soul feels, that this has been planned for such a long time.
Oh, but the H1N1, like the swine flu, the frickin', what was that other one that we had, that Ebola? They've been trying to do this for a while, and nothing has worked.
No.
I mean, they've been trying to do this. The Spanish flu was the most successful they had in terms of the amount of people that were killed by that. But then there's, the Holocaust, and then there's genocide in Africa. There's like so many genocides across the planet. They are consistently doing this. It's, once everybody starts putting all the pieces together, they're going to realize this isn't just right now, but US was the very last frontier for them to gain control of the population. Everyone else is sort of submissive to them at this point. You know what I mean? So it was like, it took for us to wake up, for everybody else to have the opportunity to like unravel and dismantle the mind control, because we were the ones that were being distracted the hardest, right? They were trying to sell us all these products. I mean, everybody was just pouring money into these. I was watching it, like constant on social media, like constant products, new product, like product. And they're doing it again.
Yeah.
But not
And
nearly to the degree that they were doing it before.
Yeah, and it's just marketing manipulation, isn't it? Like, oh, you're not quite good enough because you've got wrinkles, so you need to take this product.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to have this
Oh,
because
yeah.
your lips aren't fat enough, and you need this done because you're not going to look like this person. And it's just constant. It is exactly what you said. It's programming. It's mind control. It is just
100%.
generally head screwing the people.
Black Mirror.
Yeah. Exactly. You don't need to say anything more, right?
Right. We're done.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. Here we go. See this little thing? This. Oh, look, it's 1:00 in the morning. Oh my goodness. What'd you say?
We've had a really good chat though.
Oh, of course. I'm totally fine. I stay up late, but I actually have my mentorship program tomorrow in the morning. Yeah.
Well, my love, it's been amazing.
Yes, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful that you are here chatting with me in this moment, and that other people get to witness our conversation, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and what I'm grateful for is the fact that our paths crossed. It must literally be about 3 years ago.
Right.
Literally. Which is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. I'm just so pleased that we've been able to.
And so what's coming? Let's talk about what's coming. Okay, that's real quick. I gotta pee, but let's talk about what's coming.
I need to pee too. But that's okay.
So let's just plant some seeds. The University of Integrative Awareness. That's a one seed I could plant. The centers, the sacred villages across the planet that are going to hold these help centers for healing energetics and life protocols. There's so many levels to how we can help people. And this new alternative medicine system with vibrational medicine and these new technologies, the med beds, there's so many things coming. Free energy, free technology that we have all known existed is going to show up in our reality, and we have to understand that this is actually happening, like for real. And there's nothing stopping this. Like, no matter how hard they try to control, it's not going to happen.
Like, I know people fear change, but this is going to be a good thing.
Oh, this is so good.
This is going to be a good thing. I was shown in October 2018, I was shown that I was going to have a healing centre in New South Wales in Australia. And I was shown this massive facility that I was going to have. It's coming. Like, it's coming imminently. This natural healing. There are so many gifted people around the world that know how to help you heal without all of the tablets and the drugs and all the rest of it. Okay.
We don't need any of that stuff, man.
No.
Our bodies will literally be restored to perfect alignment and health. People are regrowing limbs, you guys.
And can I just say something? Literally in a week's time, a week today, 2 years ago, I almost died, and I managed to heal myself without any medical intervention.
Right.
Like, literally, it makes me laugh because it's all divine alignment with exactly what's going on now.
Right.
And I literally managed to heal the cause that nearly killed me. And people are like, oh, you're a miracle. No, I'm not. They gave it to me to show you how you can do it.
Right.
Like, I'm okay with that. At the time, I didn't like it, I'm going to be honest. But
like,
I'm okay.
I want it to be a miracle.
I'm okay with that now because I get it. I'm here to show other people how they do it too.
Yeah. I mean, I personally have healed myself from cancer 3 times. I broke my back twice. I had viruses in my body. I mean, you guys, I'm a total freaking walking miracle. Like, it's not even funny, what I've been through as a targeted individual, and what they did to my body and my central nervous system and how fucked I was. Oh my God. And I'm okay today.
But this is
I'm actually more than okay. I'm thriving.
Yeah, every single one of us such a beautiful divine being of light, but we've just
Exactly.
not been shown. We've been manipulated to think we're not good enough. And the reality is, over the coming months, weeks, years, whatever,
Yeah.
you are going to step back into that. And this is why I say, just
Absolutely.
trust a little longer. Trust a little longer.
The
It's coming.
seed of life has actually been reintegrated into the divine human blueprint.
Exactly.
That was just done. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a resetting of the original divine blueprint of humanity that is taking place now.
Yeah. And all of the activation codes that are coming through for humans right now. So
Right.
just a really quick one, you know, if you're feeling really, really tired, if your ears are ringing, if you feel like you're nauseous or you've got flu symptoms or headaches or whatever, rest, because you're getting your activations.
And
Rest.
go lay on the earth. It's warm
Yeah.
outside. Go lay on the earth. Literally go lay on the earth.
I heard someone
Just do it.
about 4 months ago say, just go and get your butthole on the ground. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so going to use that. Just get your bum as close to Mother Nature. Like, just do that.
Just go lean against a tree. I mean, okay, some people, they live in the city, you know, they live in concrete. But
Pick
you
up
know,
leaves.
huh?
Pick up leaves from the floor. Like, we're going into
Leaves,
autumn now.
dirt.
Pick up the leaves. Yeah.
Lean against a tree. Like,
Grounding
trees
vegetables.
are the light rods of the earth, you guys. Like, find a tree. Even if it's in a city. It may feel dead at first, but if you sit there long enough, your piezoelectric, magnetic, electrical sphere of energetic matrix will recalibrate, like literally. I had to do it when I was living in LA, man. I had it was not good. It was a city, you know, it was a city. It was a major city. And I had to find a way to ground in the city. It was hard, but I did it. Every day I found a way.
Absolutely.
You know, I took walks or whatever. You just do it. So thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Love you so much. And I think I'm going to call this We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn off the recording. So I'll say bye for now, you guys.
See you later, guys.